Good evening, everybody. My name's Mark.
And I'm Britton.
And today we're going to talk about a movie, and that is all I have to say about that.
The movie in question is The Conjuring 2.
Yep, we didn't do the first one, but who cares?
Yeah,
First one sucks. That's it.
It's about a doll, an ugly doll.
And it's not even the right doll.
No, it's the wrong doll. So
anyway,
don't even worry about that one.
End of movie. So anyway, let's jump right on in and let's get started. So this, as I just already said, is the sequel to a somewhat popular movie, which was the first Conjuring. I saw it, and I didn't like it, the first Conjuring.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed.
And, that was when I started really, cementing this idea of modern horror in my head, that it was just, 90 minutes of nothing, and then, 15 minutes of something happening, and then that's your lot. But this movie is, I guess, a little bit better.
Yeah,
there is more stuff happening.
I think it has the benefit of not being about a spooky doll, and because I'm sorry, there's no such thing as a scary doll movie.
What about Robert?
Yeah, not Robert, not even Chucky.
Okay.
So it had the benefit of not being a doll movie.
So, go ahead and just give a very brief description of what this movie's about.
So, oddly enough, even though it predominantly takes place in England, it takes place, it starts in the Amityville house, and they're going over how there was some entity there that was controlling what's his face? DeFeo that was, shooting up his family that ended up haunting the house. And it was some ugly nun, and it was kind of this demon. So, I don't know why they kind of stopped at I guess they got bored.
I guess they solved the Amityville thing. They're like, all right, now what?
Yeah.
And let's move on to jolly old England.
Yeah, where there's this little girl who's being haunted by this old man who's just he just wants to be left alone. Kinda.
Yeah.
He wants to be left alone, but he also wants to hear people scream, and it's kind of it's not really well defined. And it's kind of this step-by-step process where they're trying to do interviews, trying to figure out, is it real, is it a hoax, and figure out a little bit more about this entity that's haunting them.
Now, the interesting thing about this movie is that it is based off of a true story. And I actually did a little bit of research right after we got done watching it. Yeah. Because I wanted to see...
Well, no, you did some research while we were watching, because it was one of those long, boring scenes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It was funny because it was towards the climax.
Yeah. Around the time I was falling asleep.
So I wanted to know what about this movie was real and what was fictitious, or at least what they were presenting. And I did find some interesting information.
Okay.
One of which is the case that the movie is based off of, I think, is one of England's longest investigations into the paranormal. Yeah,
it had legitimate accounts by the police
and a lot of other things. They said that they interviewed the girl who was, being controlled and possessed. Yeah. And they said that, she said that there were some things that she did embellish, but she said that most of it was what happened was real. Yeah. And the most important thing is that the stars of our movie, the singing Elvis and Vera Farmiga, they were only there for about 2 or 3 days, and there was a British historical or British paranormal society that was there for weeks and weeks, and maybe even months. So they were really the ones conducting the investigation. These asshats just showed up for 2 days.
Yeah, got their pictures taken there
and then left.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a very disingenuous movie. But I guess the people there were kind of, as far as I know, they were hucksters anyway. Yeah. Just by the way it seems.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflicting information about how these people by these people I mean the main couple in the movie. There's a lot of conflicting information as to how they conducted their investigations and whether or not they were snowball artists.
So I'm kind of more interested. I'd like to see more information from the place that was actually doing the brunt of the investigation for months, and because I bet you that's a much more interesting story than these doll people chasing after a scary nun
and stealing children's toys.
Oh gosh. All right. So now we're gonna have to break into basically a section of this episode which is called "Why the Horror Just Doesn't Work," especially in this movie.
It was your standard fare, jump scare fare where it was just building tension, and a lot of times that never paid off. Like I remember we were kind of making fun of the movie because we're like, all right, let's see what's behind the door again. Oh, it was nothing again.
Like there was I forget what scene it was. It was very early on where oh, that's right. It was, I think, the tent scene. Like early in the movie, this kid has this tent set up, and this scary old man voice is yelling at him, and he's like throwing the truck out at him. And he's doing all this spooky voice and yelling. It's like supposed to be really intense, and this little boy runs and gets his mom, and his mom investigates, and of course, there's nothing in there. And I remember saying to Britton, I was like, this would have been a lot scarier if she opens it up and it's fucking there.
But before that, the scene leading up to that, the kid gets in and out of bed 4 times.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like he gets up, looks out at the tent, nothing. So he goes back to bed. Then he gets out, he looks at the tent, and there's nothing. Then he goes back. Then he gets back and looks at it again. And at this point, I'm like, all right, so I bet you it's gonna be something this time. Nothing.
Nothing.
And then the 4th time, he just gets up and walks to the tent. And I'm like, why?
It was a baffling exercise. It's not definitely not the worst, the most poorly executed horror movie we've seen.
No, by no stretch of imagination.
But there was definitely some laughable moments in it. Like a lot of the nun scenes were nonsensical.
and
not since Ghostbusters 2 had there been a scary painting scene.
And I think Ghostbusters 2's painting was scarier, actually.
Well, it had Peter McNichol.
I mean, no, the painting itself I thought was scary. Actually, when I was a kid, I wasn't scared of the painting, but I definitely saw it as a threat. Like, I think that this nun painting was painted too obviously evil, for it to actually be scary. Like, oh, okay, like there's something scarier to me in something that's almost innocuous or, just like, for instance, the doll Annabelle in the movies is this scary, like, warped, twisted doll. Like they had it actually in the end of the movie. They had a little, I guess, they threw the prop in there. And I was like, it's supposed to like invoke a feeling of like, ooh, that's a scary fucking doll. But the real Annabelle, like the actual, recorded history of the Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll. And to me, that is a lot more terrifying because that seems like something that could actually happen. No one's gonna buy their kid a fucking spooky Halloween doll and just, give it to them. Like, of course that fucking doll is possessed.
Then again, like, I know a lot of people are creeped out by dolls. It's the same reason why masks are creepy to some people. I don't know. I don't see a doll and think that it's any kind of threat.
Well, I guess that's a very logical center of your brain. Like, I could just kick this doll and it'd be fine. But like, me, the only thing that would be scary is if that inanimate object is now moving, and that's terrifying to me.
Like it might be a scary inanimate doll that's moving around, but it goes under the boot like any other doll.
It's like, I imagine if like a stuffed animal just came to life and started walking, I imagine, for Britton it would be a mild little, hey! And he'd grab it and then he'd just put it, like, in the oven.
Oh, no, I determined it.
No, you'd study it.
Yeah, like, I'm like, all right, well, what's this thing doing?
Like,
what are you going to do? And then, once I determine that is, some kind of threat, that's when it goes in the oven.
Like, I imagine that you first pick it up and you start... basically analyzing it, like, all right, is there some sort of mechanical aspects to this? Is this being remote controlled by, is this a prank of some kind?
No, this is actual fluff.
You cut it open,
I vivisect
it. Well, it's like screaming and kicking its little legs.
Stop it, you're just making this take longer.
Well, great, I slipped. Are you happy now?
Ow, I cut myself.
Knock it off! So you just, like, hold its head down while you're and then, like, okay, there's nothing here. Alright. What's your angle? And then
then it's running from me. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's controlling or powering this thing, and I'm the big spooky monster that's trying to get away from.
Imagine, like, all the other dolls and stuffed animals, hear of you, and they all try to take you down, so you're just sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden these dolls are just, like, crawling over you, but they're kind of like flies, so you just, like, push them off, like...
Get off me.
Cut it out. Get off, come on, stop it.
Hey,
come on. So you just pick up, get up and leave, go to your room, you shut the door, and just watch YouTube.
Yeah. And they can't get through the door.
You just see their little fluff arms, like, reaching underneath the door. But, you just stuff a towel under there. So
this guy's not playing right. He's not being fair. I don't know. I imagine that's a stuffed elephant.
Yeah, I can see that. How would you like to be a stuffed elephant? Huh?
Well, there's a lot of... what was it? A polka dot elephant?
Oh, yeah. Not just a stuffed elephant. That was more of a threat. How would you like to be a stuffed elephant? No, thank you.
I'll turn you into a beehive.
Let her try to turn me into a stuffed elephant. How about a little fire, elephant? Ooh! He goes up instantly because it's a child's toy.
I imagine an older era child's toy where nothing was flame retardant.
Actually, I imagine it's a even older era child's toy where it's just stuffed with asbestos. So it's fine.
It's soaked in kerosene. Kerosene's the only way to get it clean.
Yeah, so that is why stuffed animals coming to life is not really too much of a threat.
At least not to me.
Like, I'd be scared out of my wits, but I guess eventually, like, after a couple hours, I would, come out of my room, and I would just kind of, like, deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, are you still out there? Maybe I'll try to talk to it. Like, alright, so, alright, tell me, but they don't have, like, anything to speak with, so they have to, like, write down their stuff. I imagine it has to use, like, both hands to, and it just takes too long and it's scribbly. It's like, oh, jeez, alright,
Well, your penmanship's awful.
Alright, here, so I set it up in front of a typewriter. Alright, tell me what you want.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Alright, I'm just gonna put you in the
Go.
All right, and at the end of the day, we just end up putting them in the trash.
Yeah. And it's too weak because it's just made of stuffing, so it can't get out of the trash.
And eventually, it's just compressed, like in the dump truck.
This is why we don't get to write scary horror movies.
We'll take it too literal, and it will just end up in the landfill. Oh, these people threw away a perfectly good ghost.
See, this is where our movie would start. That would be the first act. That'd be the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, and the rest of the movie is from the doll's point of view, trying to find its way back. It's kind of like The Incredible Journey, only with a stuffed ghost, a haunted stuffed animal.
So, the stuffed animal came from a different home.
Yeah.
And even though everyone hated it and was screaming all the time, it was happy there.
Yeah, it was his home.
Yeah. And so, they throw it away and it ends up in the landfill, and then it's just the journey back.
Yeah, and that was still a stuffed elephant in your mind, right?
Sure.
Okay. Sure, why not?
Let's play your game.
Now think of all the neat adventures that this haunted stuffed elephant can get into on its way back to its home.
Isn't this just Toy Story with demonic possession?
Well, kind of, but we'll play up the demonic possessions part a little bit more. Like there's not going to be a lot of whimsy and wonder. It's going to be a lot more of first maybe it gets out of the landfill by just sordid means, like maybe the compression ripped a little bit, so it's gotta find replacement parts. So now it's got an egg beater where its arm should be, and it's just making its way back. And
it eventually gets zip tied to the grill of a semi.
It just actually takes
at the end of the Toy Story 3 with that bad guy.
And it takes him a little bit further from where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Eventually it winds up under a bridge with Freight Crate Frank.
I saw this elephant before during the Great Elephant Wars. Yeah, that was tough.
I think this elephant was the soul of my good brother Frank.
I don't think you were in the Elephant Wars. In fact, I don't think there was an Elephant Wars.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then he throws the stuff down. Eventually, the elephant stops by, for a little bit to scare the
Well, I imagine he
tramps.
He throws the elephant, and since they're under the bridge, it goes down the river, into maybe into the sticks where there's a bunch of hillbillies,
and it scares the pants off the hillbillies. Well, actually, it stumbles into maybe a moonshine farm or something, and at first it scares them. But then it's just more clumsy than anything, and
because they're all hopped up on shine.
Yeah.
So they're running around like a bunch of clumsy oafs, shooting themselves with. I imagine they're blunderbusses.
Yeah, of course.
They have blunderbusses that they're shooting each other with. So
and then they start accepting it for a little bit. Hey, this guy ain't so bad. I don't know. I can't do a good.
This guy ain't so bad.
One of the hill folk from Hills Have Eyes. So it just turns into a hootenanny.
Yeah. Yeah, they bring him to the square dance.
Yeah, and then it dances with a Raggedy Ann doll, and and
I was gonna say some Lulabelle or
Talkie Tina from Twilight Zone.
I was gonna say some farmer's daughter that's like 7.5 feet tall, and she's proportioned like olive oil with giant feet and gangly limbs.
Okay, I can see it. So
but she still has the blonde pigtails.
Yeah, and the blue checker dress.
Yeah.
So the haunted toy elephant, or haunted stuffed elephant rather, it bows in front of her, its egg beater out, and she kind of bends over, and because she is built like olive oil, she has long arms and legs, so she's hunched over completely, holding onto him, and they start dancing like that.
I imagine she's introduced, it's there's just this stomping Daddy, Lulabelle, we got guests. And she ends up doing some more damage to it because she's not coordinated and she doesn't really know her own strength.
I imagine that at first they dance like Doc Brown dances with Clara at the in Back to the Future 3. Yeah. But she ends up tearing one of its eyes out or something.
I imagine that's how he loses his trunk.
And yeah, so they replaced the trunk with a piece of PVC hose.
A vacuum cleaner hose.
Yeah. One of the attachments, so it's got bristles at the end of it.
It's a brush.
And then, then the elephant leaves, waves goodbye, and then it's off for some more adventures.
I imagine as he's he's limping away, but Lulabelle has a tiny elephant baby, swaddling.
In a swaddling cloth.
Yeah, and implying.
Yeah, that the elephant porked her.
Which I don't know how that would work.
We see when a woman and a stuffed toy haunted elephant love each other very much.
No, go on. I really want to know the logistics of this.
Hold on a second, wait a second. Like a red rocket comes out.
Okay.
And that's all you need to know.
That's all I need to know.
So then like the last leg that it runs into, is
the dog pound.
One of the dogs like it shakes it up, and that's where it loses its eye, and it has to it has like imagine like the black beady eyes, and it has to be replaced now with something else like a thumbtack
button.
The button works fine.
No, button's too dignified.
Like
a quarter. A nickel.
A wooden nickel. It's like it's a nail, and it's like a crooked nail. It's not all the way in, so it's bent a little bit.
Yeah.
And
poor elephant.
And it finally, like after all that, it finally gets back to its hometown, and it finally finds the right home. And it gets there, and the family finds it, and it standing on their porch, and it just immediately cuts to them stomping on it into the trash can again.
It's like, oh, I thought I threw this away.
And then that's it. That is our haunted stuffed elephant movie.
And I kind of want to see that movie.
Like, I'd be honest, I would not be bored with that movie. I would be invested in this movie. Like, all right, movie, what do you got?
Yeah, you haven't had a boring scene yet.
This has been an adventure. This is like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, where like every turn there's something more ridiculous, but it never stops being entertaining.
Yeah. Oh man, and really, what was his end goal? Like just to go back there and haunt them more. Like
that's its home. Like it doesn't know how to haunt anything else.
It didn't really want to do anything. It just wanted to sit on a shelf.
But it turns out that the journey was the destination.
I guess it was a shitty journey.
He had some good friends along the way, but
maimed by animals.
Animals and hill folk. It was tied to a truck for a little bit.
You should have just stayed at the landfill. Sounds like there was a perfectly good guy there that was willing, happy to find a friend elephant.
Nope. So
accosted by bridge people.
Talking about the Great Elephant War, which may or may not have happened, and Freight Crate Frank may or may not have been involved in.
I claim deniability. It was a covert operation.
It was I don't know why he's Cliff Clavin. It was Black Ops before Black Ops, if you know what I mean. No. Okay, moving on then.
We'd initially assassinated the original elephant emperor.
Okay.
And, installed a peanut republic.
But as these things often do, it collapsed. It collapsed like a house of cards.
Yeah, so it was a big elephant civil war for a while.
So
it was elephant against elephant, tusk against tusk.
And so we didn't want to lose our claimness, because if the rebel elephants won, all of a sudden we lost our foothold in the Great Elephant Kingdom.
Yeah.
So we sent some
Elephopolis.
So we sent some troops in there from the Gorilla Kingdom, and just to kind of help out the main elephants.
And not a lot of people know this, but Dumbo was actually a covert operation during the war. Yeah, he did have that brief stint, but when the draft letter came, he did serve his country.
Like it's just like when Elvis served, or Jimmy Stewart, or
exactly.
The Marx Brothers. Like they were all part of covert operations.
Like, a lot of big stars were back in the those days.
Like you had to be, or else they'd put you to the boot.
Yeah, so Dumbo was flying, during midnight. We made sure to
plausible deniability.
Yeah, but I'm telling you the story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't mind telling you with the plausible deniability. I'll admit to it. But Dumbo was flying over Elflopolis, and we made sure to do it during the new moon, so there was no light. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why he's becoming like Southern all of a sudden.
He's having flashbacks.
I know.
Some folks are born made to red. That was after the Elephant War. I just like that song. Oh, the red, white, and blue.
And then it was bound to fail. Like the elephants knew the jungles better than we did. They had elephant gorillas everywhere.
Long story short, we lost.
It was bad.
Oh man, was it bad.
I lost my best friend there.
Lost his trunk and everything. And
I married an elephant though there. Brought her home.
They met Mom and Pop. They weren't happy.
They did not approve.
And that's how I got here. He's eating beans.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's what modern horror movies are really missing.
Yeah. Which part?
Intrigue.
Yeah.
Pacing.
Yeah.
Now, while I will say that The Conjuring 2 wasn't poorly paced, there were scenes like you mentioned before with the kid in his, getting up and out of bed about 15 times, or every single time they they'd hear a spooky news, a spooky noise, and would just walk down the hall for 10 minutes with a flashlight.
Like it was intended to build up tension, but it just kind of dragged and deflated the scene a little bit.
It never builds up tension. Here's the thing: most of the times, because we've seen a lot of bad, really bad horror movies, and this movie was clearly not a bad horror movie.
No,
it was well made. Well acted.
The acting was good.
And the pacing wasn't terrible, but those bad movies that we watch, usually they do that slow, drawn out thing because they're just padding. They'll have someone look through a house for 10 minutes because they're only, an hour and an hour of plot and they need to make an hour 30,
Yeah.
This movie was 2 hours and 19 minutes long.
Yeah.
It didn't need that kind of padding.
No, it was long enough.
Yeah, so it was definitely an intentional, thing to set the pace. I just really believe that maybe if they kind of shortened some of it up a little bit, it might have been there comes a point when somebody's just walking through, looking for the spooky noise. It can build tension for a little bit, but there's a certain point where I just roll my eyes and go, oh my gosh, get on with it. I know it's going to either be nothing or a guy running really fast, shaking his head.
Maybe we're kind of looking at this all wrong. Maybe, this is, maybe this is all a ploy by big real estate to get to do house tours during their movies so they can sell more homes.
In a backwards way, this is just a long form Scooby-Doo plot where real estate people are trying to sell property by pretending to be ghosts.
Yeah. I think we figure, man, we're gonna have snipers.
I know, we've said too much.
Yeah, I know. One thing that I do give to this movie is that it only had 5 flashlight flashes.
Yeah, we usually count the flashlight flashes that, whenever people look around horror movies with the flashlights out, it'll always shine, into the camera.
So we play a little game where we count how many times the flashlights flash into the lens.
Yeah, and it was only 5 this time.
I think I forget that.
It was
movie.
Body Cam.
Oh yeah, Body Cam.
Mary J. Blige.
We were definitely.
It was in the 70s.
Was it that much?
I think we. Okay, maybe not 70.
It was definitely double digits.
Yeah, I know it was. I remember I stopped counting at 20, and this was, mind you, this was in the first act of the movie. Yeah. And you're like, I'm not done counting, Mark. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not playing this game anymore.
I think I might have at least gotten into the 50s, but yeah, there were a lot.
And yeah, it was ridiculous.
So do that at home.
Yeah, whatever.
If your movie is a little bit lackluster and it's not doing what you want it to do, and by want it to do is entertain you, then count how many flashlight flashes.
I remember there was a moment in this movie where like a big spooky CGI man came out.
Oh my god, yeah, who looked like a Goosebumps villain.
Yeah, and I remember looking at you saying, people were scared of this movie. Like, there's a lot of people who I hear say, oh, The Conjuring 2 was really scary.
Yeah, and
go on.
No, like I was saying earlier, I was literally falling asleep.
Yeah.
I don't know if that says more about me or the movie.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole, maybe it's us, you know. Yeah. But I don't know, there are still movies that I can watch and be creeped out by.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw The Shining, I was creeped out by it. But yeah. I think I had been, I was under the influence. I think I was drinking or something. So, yeah, I might have had something to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the vulnerability, of the mind under not ideal conditions. Yeah, it can make something a little bit more scary.
And I remember I think the first time that I bought Poltergeist on Blu-ray, and I'd seen it before, but I was like, in my, I was definitely in my like mid-20s, and I was watching it with a friend, and we actually had to turn the lights on. It was like, all right, this is actually, it's not terrifying, but it is definitely creeping me out enough that I just, I don't want to sit here in the dark with the lights out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Greg.
Huh.
And
it's funny because I remember I liked the scientific process that they were going through when I saw it when I was younger. It's like, oh, they have instruments.
Yeah. No, listen, this is not just spooky things happening. This is this is people trying to study the spooky events. And yeah, like, because I maintain that I still think Poltergeist is a pretty damn scary movie.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time.
I think although I was never creeped out by Evil Dead 2, I can say that the atmosphere of it is creepy to me.
Yeah.
Like, the whole shebang, even the parts that are kind of funny, like, the lamp laughing at him and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, that whole sequence is such a mind fuck that, like, you can't help but laugh, but also be just a little weirded out by it.
And that's something that, now that I think about it, like, a lot of movies don't really pay as much attention to set design in terms of their creepy atmosphere, like Evil Dead did. Like, there's decrepit cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and there's all these esoteric trinkets and oddities everywhere.
And it's like
it built the atmosphere.
Like, it's really funny that when you see the like when you go and you see this cabin, you see like the stuffed head, the bust or whatever, what's it called, the rack, like on the wall. Yeah. Like, you do get put in the mind of like, creepy if that moves, but like movies usually don't do that. Like, they, there's not a lot of movies that would like make a the thing just come to life on the wall and like start laughing at it or just start doing anything
until the Billy Bass.
then they made a whole thing out of it. Like, what if it didn't scream? What if it sang?
Sam Raimi should have taken them into court. Like, they really kind of took him to the cleaners on that.
Yeah, I think that he didn't because he didn't want to acknowledge that he had any inspiration for that.
I think my dad had a Billy Bass.
I know my neighbors had a Billy Bass.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I was fascinated by it.
Yeah, me too. My grandparents had one too. Go on.
And just how it would slowly die after you press the button. It would just do this demonic voice.
Oh, that part didn't. That wasn't something that fascinated me. I just thought it was I thought it was funny. Like, I like the songs it sang. I can't remember any of them now.
No, I don't remember. And that's a strange thing about first off, I'm not even sure if it was called Billy Bass. I'm pretty sure.
Big Mouth Billy or something.
Yeah, something like that. And it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was huge.
Wasn't there commercials for it too?
Oh yeah, of course. And I know that it was so big that they did a joke on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where they're doing the dating game. Let's make a date. Wayne Brady was one of the Big Mouth Billy Bass things.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So yeah, it was popular enough that that at least made it to Whose Line Is It Anyway? So that, you know, it goes to show how like much of a fad it was.
It did make it to mainstream, which it's one of those things that is definitely a time capsule of the decade.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll watch that, you know, in the future become like a rare collector's item.
Yeah, like it's like on eBay, it's worth like $6,000-$7,000.
Like, because everyone, everyone threw those. There was away after a week.
Once the batteries died, they're like, "What am I gonna do with it now?" Now it's just a fake fish on the wall.
Am I gonna buy more batteries? I don't think so.
That's stupid. Like every now and again, they'll probably scared a bunch of old people to death. Like they'll just be sitting there, like watching the game or something, like. Or knitting. I don't know what people do.
Oh, wasn't there like a motion sensor to it as well?
Yeah.
So they were just, Grandma would be walking into the room and,
hello.
ah!
and
Killed by a fish,
just like my horoscope said. And yeah, it's kind of a weird time and place thing, like you're saying, like a nice time capsule of what it was like to be in that era. Like
looking back on the 90s, it was a weird decade.
It's like we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know, let's clone a sheep. Well, what do we do now?
Oh, like we didn't know if we were gonna die, in
Y2K.
10 years. Like we didn't know if that was a thing. We didn't know if Y2K gonna get us. Oh, is Christ coming back?
Yeah, I know a lot of people. I remember hearing people talk about that.
Yeah, like everyone thought that that was going to be the big second coming, and
but it turned out it was just like. I remember the only time I was worried about Y2K was I remember I was at my neighbor's, the same neighbors had the big mouth Billy Bass, and we were counting down the new year, and it was like, all right, 10, 9, I was like, 8, I was like, it's gonna be 2000, and then like, with like 6 seconds left, I had a little bit of a mini panic, just like, in the back of my head, I was like, wow, what if this is it? Well, what if I'm 5 seconds from just the rapture?
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I wasn't.
And I think I had... I think I had a little bit. I didn't like going into the year 2000 because of the same that number thing we were discussing.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't know how that what the 2000s were going to look like. So,
I remember when I was in kindergarten, like for some reason I remember it was like I remember counting down the age. I was like, let's see, this is the year is this, and I was doing the math in my head. I remember thinking like, in 2000 I'll be 15. I remember like almost crying. I was a sissy lala as a kid, so I cried about everything. I cried when they didn't do the letter people in the right order. True story. But I remember thinking like, oh no, I'll only be 15 in year 2000. I don't want to die when I'm 15. For some reason in kindergarten, I thought 2000 was actually the literal like end of everything. This is before all the Y2K stuff. I just thought that like what comes after 1999, you know?
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, and because it seems like 2000 seems like there's finality behind it.
Yeah, like I didn't know how years worked,
and so like it goes to show like why there were so many predictions and conspiracies about what was going to happen and all that.
And so like it's weird to think that of all the all these things we mentioned were more like scary to us than the Conjuring 2.
Yeah,
like it's like Big Mouth Billy Bass was a scarier concept than anything in the Conjuring 2, because sometimes when you walk by it would start singing to you. You didn't always know.
Yeah, you could have been getting up to go
take a poop.
Yeah, and this fish would start singing to you,
just like in Evil Dead. You didn't want that to happen. I kind of wonder if there is if you can get a big mouth Billy Bass type thing, but just for the head of the deer or the elk from Evil Dead. Like just get one that like moves around and laughs. That'd be awesome. I would hang that up.
Would you?
I'd put it right there.
Right, over the entertainment center?
Yeah, over the TV, right over there. We'll get rid of that picture.
And every time there's a loud noise, it'll laugh.
Yeah, like people. I imagine having someone over and they sleep on the couch, and they're just like, I don't like that thing, and we don't have it turned on. It only activates in the dark. So when they go to sleep, once a sound is made in the darkest, they just get up and run.
That or it's controlled with a cell phone app, and you can talk through it.
Hey, it like moves. It has a destroyer voice. Hey, how's it going? Could you bring me a glass of water? I'm kind of thirsty. The glass is in the cupboard and the water's in the refrigerator.
And the person half asleep gives the deer water and it breaks.
Like, hey, what do you do?
And no, it pours behind the entertainment center and everything shorts.
It doesn't short, but it gets moldy back there, and so we have to steam clean the carpets.
Why'd you have to buy that deer head?
Listen, it was well worth the $850.
Oh man. So what?
Go ahead.
So one thing I do want to kind of address in The Conjuring 2 is the plot point of the nun.
Okay.
Because we touched upon everything. I know there was another nun movie, but
I think it was supposed to be related.
Was that more Insidious?
I thought the nun, if I'm not mistaken, I thought the nun was I thought it was supposed to be part of the I can't believe I'm saying this, the Conjuring extended universe, but it might just be the Annabelle movies. I don't know. Hold on a second. Wait.
Movies?
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
Holy
I think
shit.
There's Annabelle and then Annabelle Creation or something like that.
Oh my god.
Hold on a second. Alexa, is the nun part of the Conjuring universe?
Here's something I found on the web.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
According to GeekSoftDoom.com, directed by Karen Hardy, The Nun is the third spin-off in the Conjuring universe, joining the two Annabelle films.
Yeah, two. Okay. So I guess for us to understand this movie a little bit better, we need
no. If the movie can't tell us everything we need to know just about this story, in this movie, I don't want to know anything more about it. It's not like Lord of the Rings where we're expecting a trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, though I think the nun came after.
Yeah, it did.
And I wonder if that was planned or because the nun the nun just seemed to come out of nowhere and didn't really do much.
I like to think they had dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah, probably.
And they were like, all right, we'll have this. I think it might have started out as all right, so what can we have as because the whole point, I think, of that Valen or whatever that demon's name was.
Valium.
That was that that's the real demon. Was that Vera Farmiga is she's having a crisis of faith, and brought about by these visions and these dreams that she's having involving her husband. And the nun is supposed to be, I think, a representation of this crisis of faith that she's feeling, and her defeat of it at the end is spoiler alert is basically her kind of conquering her own demons, so to say, and regaining her faith. So I think that it was originally written as all right, what can be something that's symbolic of faith but also be kind of scary?
Yeah.
And I think they settled on a nun because we can do scary things with that. And then once they started filming and doing all this nun stuff, I think then the dollar signs started flashing ooh, we can do a lot with this nun.
I think they saw the makeup and because the nun was creepy. I do think the nun, the makeup and I don't know who played the nun. It looked like Marilyn Manson, but the nun was definitely creepy. But I heard that was a disappointing movie as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I thought it was kind of dumb that she defeated it like Rumpelstiltskin. She just said his name and
hey, who told you my name? Well, you did actually.
Why'd I do that? I was dumb.
Yeah, it does seem like a really dumb thing for a demon. Like, that is exactly how Rumpelstiltskin's beaten. Like, he got too cocky. Like, they'll never... like, they'll never guess my name. Valen, that is my name. And, like, she was the huntsman in that moment. She's like, oh, okay. Your name is Valen.
You got me.
All right, I'll come back.
Yeah, I'll be... shit.
You can't remember it forever.
Oh, I will. Okay.
Well, the funny, like, I forget people's names all the time. Like, like when I meet somebody, like even people I like at work or something, I'll be like, "Hey, how's it going, Mr. Riley, Bradley?" You know, those no one's names. I'll just pull it out my head. But I'll just say it. So like, there's a good chance that 5 years pass, and it's like, I'm back. Oh yeah. Is a V name.
Vulcan.
Wait, let me get my Bible. Oh, I sold it.
Vacuum.
No. Was it Volume? Not close enough. It's not close enough. Nope.
Volkswagen.
Nope. By law, you have to have the name like at least 80% right. You have to get 4 of the 5 letters.
How many syllables?
2 syllables.
All right.
He's doing charades. It's like tapping on its arm.
Sounds like.
Nope. Can't do that. It's not fair. Yep. Go ahead. You only get a few guesses.
Wait, no, I get all the guesses I want.
That works. That usually works. Actually, a lot of people fall for it.
Vishnu.
Nope.
Wrong guy.
Yep. No. completely different ballpark. Keep going. It's a V word. I will give you that. You've got 1 of the letters right. I need 3.
You gotta give me something.
It's Valen. Why'd I do that?
He just immediately, like, she doesn't even have to say it. She just disappears.
It just puffs. It's a cloud of smoke.
It's just, imagine she just, drifts away like the
Thanos.
Mummy. Like she just, turns to dust.
And waits another 5 years. Like, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta do this better. What am I doing? Looks in the mirror. What have I become?
What is it? What's all this makeup?
You know what? Let me splash some water on my face. That's my real face right there.
Am I going to a Twisted Sister concert?
You know what? When was the last time I combed my hair? Well, let me take a look under this habit. Well, maybe the habit works. Maybe I should take off the habit.
Yeah, it's it works for me.
Yeah, it's part of the costume. But you know what? I'm just gonna take a bath, and I think I'll feel a lot better afterwards.
And then some old guy in England dies, and let's see what I can do with this.
Can I control you?
Well, I guess you can.
All right. Well,
you're gonna be in my house.
Yep, I'm in your house.
I don't want you in my house.
Oh, well, you don't know my name, which is Valen.
What is it?
It's nothing. Don't worry about what my name is. Yeah. See, if you had your miracle ear in, then you would have been able to hear it.
Yeah, it didn't come with me.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't. No, that is another thing. Like the ghost of the old man, like, still apparently retained his dentures or whatever in the afterlife. So that's kind of cruel afterlife that you still have all the.
He still have every medical problem.
Yeah. I bet he still had the blood clot in his head too.
The demons have a terrible HMO. Their retirement and their insurance plans are absolutely
through the
wretched.
Roof. Like heaven's got a really good package, but hell doesn't.
And so he has to take whatever he had in life with him, or else he's gonna have nothing.
He's pulling his. No
wonder he's so angry and biting little girls.
This is my cane. I've had this cane. It's my cane. I'm taking it with me.
This is the only chair that doesn't. It makes my back not hurt. Can you not sit in this chair? For the love of God. Just leave the man one chair, and he'll leave you alone. You won't even know he's there.
It's like it kind of makes me makes it crazy that they didn't remove the chair that the old man died in.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Like, this one chair was pretty much the conduit for this old man the entire time, and they never threw it away. Not only that, they said there was a blurb at the end of the movie, like, and the mother who died in 2003 died in the same chair that the old man died in. Like, why didn't you? You had that haunted chair for 4 decades.
I know, like if you would have just thrown the chair out, the possession probably would have stopped. Hey, where you going with that?
That's my chair.
Hey, where you doing? Don't do that. Oh.
It's raining.
Oh, no.
It's gonna get moldy.
And it winds up in the same landfill as the haunted stuffed elephant.
Yeah. And they become the best friends.
It sits on the chair. Hey!
You better get out of here.
Off my chair!
Yeah, go on.
I was going to end it on that note.
Okay.
On that note, The Conjuring 2.
Mediocre. I'm not going to say it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's... if you like spooky movies, definitely give it a watch. You're not gonna be disappointed, or maybe a little disappointed. It's it's okay.
I can't say that it's a bad movie, but I can't say it's a scary movie.
Yeah.
If you like modern horror, watch a better movie. Just watch good horror. But if you like that kind of stuff, you probably will enjoy Conjuring. Or Conjuring 2. If you like the first one, you'll probably like the second one.
Yeah, in terms of modern horror, it's not the worst thing you could do.
So,
at least in my opinion.
Yeah, like, you could do worse. So, well, that's it. Take it easy, everybody. That ends on a downer.
The toodaloo.
I don't know what little SOBs.